Kicking things off here at Big Ten Football Media Days, Brian Tripp with head coach James Franklin. And Coach, as you put behind the staff retreat and media days are here, what's the atmosphere around the program as camp is coming up here within the next week?
Yeah, the staff retreat is always good because we can spend some time talking philosophy. Obviously, there's some staff turnover every single year, whether it's on the field or off. And then to be able to spend some time just from a morale standpoint. We were in Harrisburg this year, so it's always good to connect in different parts of the state. We've had a great summer, and I know everybody says that this time of year, but all of our testing numbers in the weight room and the catapult, the way we can check the data in terms of speed and strength have been really good. Obviously losing a guy like Dwight Galt, who's kind of a legend in the industry when it comes to strength and conditioning, was impactful on a lot of different levels. But having a guy like Chuck Losey, who's been with me for 12 years, to be able to take over and build on it has been really important. So I think we're in a good place. Obviously, practice is going to be here soon, and we're looking forward because as we both know, we're going to blink and we're going to be getting on the plane to go to Purdue.
What are you looking forward to learning about your team as practice begins?
Yeah, I think the way I view our team right now is I think we're in a better position at most spots from a depth perspective. I really like our depth. This recruiting class was obviously highly regarded, but obviously after signing day, that doesn't matter. It's really what shows up and how they compete. And I think there's probably more guys in this class that I think can contribute as freshmen and transfers than we've had before. So that helps us from a depth perspective as well. Obviously, there's still a few positions that we do have some question marks, like everybody in the country, that we're going to have to figure out during camp. We can go into camp with an idea of what our identity is going to be, but that will evolve for the first couple of weeks, and then from that point on, we gotta play to our strengths, and obviously minimize our weaknesses.
What do you hope that identity looks like? Even though you say it may evolve, what do you hope, at least on paper right now, it looks like?
Yeah, I try not to do that, because I think when you do that, then that's when you're trying to force your personnel into what you want it to be, rather than truly playing to your strengths. I give you a perfect example. We got a really good tight end room. So right now, I could say that we're going to be tight end heavy or tight end dominant offense. But talking to Sean Clifford, he's been really impressed with our depth at wideout and really our starters. Obviously, losing a guy like Jahan Dotson is significant, but I would say our three guys that we think are probably going to be the starters this year, I think it's a better group, because you got Parker Washington, that's a year older and more experienced. You got Keandre, who's a year older and more experienced, and then obviously getting a guy like Mitchell Tinsley coming in with his experience. So, what I try to do is say, look, let's install the offense, let's install the defense, kind of do it from a big picture perspective, and then now we start to narrow it down and say, okay, this is who we're going to be based on how practices have gone.
You come here and you see so many of your peers, and in a profession really where stability is not a thing. You enter your 9th season as head coach, 3rd longest tenured in the Big Ten. How have you been able to achieve that stability and consistency within your program?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is really how we build it. We got to Penn State at a challenging time. And we were able to go to a Big Ten championship, play in multiple New Year's Six bowl games. But I think at a place like Penn State, it's also about how you are in the community, how you are in the classroom, how your players handle themselves and conduct themselves. It's all those things. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the relationships that we've built. I think my values in terms of college athletics and specifically college football align with the leadership of the university. And I'm not a mover and a shaker. I've had to do some things in my career to kind of move up, because I didn't play major college football. But when you're able to get to a place like Penn State, it makes sense to dig your heels in and try to build something really special.
Your core values, the core values of the program, and also that 1-0 mentality every week. How important is that now when there's so much talk about name, image, likeness, conference realignment and expansion, with all the noise going around outside of just what's going on in your program?
I think your point is exactly right, that those things are in place to help limit distractions and keep everybody focused on the prize at hand. But I think you got to be willing to have those conversations as well. You try to do it as much as you can in the off season, and try to push those things to the back seat as much as you can in season. But you better be willing to have conversations, and I think for guys that have been in the business a long time, you got to be willing to have conversations that you've never had before and may be uncomfortable. But that's part of evolving and growing, as a person. That's part of growing as an organization, and that's something obviously that's really important. And I'm excited about that relationship and that connection with Pat Kraft. I think he views it the same way.
Coach, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.